Hello again, everyone, and welcome to Still in Canada. This is the channel about my journey from knowing absolutely nothing to becoming a micro distiller in Canada. So you're at the very beginning here, and you can follow me along and see how I go from the process of learning and building and testing and coming up with recipes and what I prefer to drink and what we'll be looking at in the future. So today I did get some new parts in the mail, and we'll do another video shortly on that. And it is now time to actually start construction on my still. Now that I have the remaining parts I needed in order to get it, the physical parts of it built, that'll be coming up. But for now, we have alcohol. So the one thing I did is I went around to the local distilleries that are close to me, the micro distilleries. I'm not interested in the big boys. I want to see what quality, what flavors are available in my area. And there's quite a bit. In this area there's a few micro distilleries, and none are very old. Some are producing flavored spirits, aged spirits now. And there's some that are still pretty new, and it's just white spirits. But I want to know what that flavor is. What sells in this part of the world? And what do I like out of the offering? So behind me, and you're going to see I'm still working on the car. Actually, tomorrow I'll be doing a lot of fiberglass work. But right here is some of the samples that are just close to me. And here we have Murphy's Law. Now, Murphy's Law Distillery is in Elmira, Ontario. And they're a moonshine, they say they're a moonshine company, and they offer that selection. And they have some fantastic selections. Quite impressed with them. And in here we have, this one here is the pepper. So that is the pepper shine, which mixed, now I'm not a big fan of these types of whiskey straight. But this one here mixed with, in Canada it'd be Clamato, but or for Bloody Mary, you can mix it with tomato juice, and it's fantastic with the pepper already in here, infused right into the alcohol. Very nice flavoring. And then we have one that actually is pretty good, is straight, is the caramel. It's a very sweet flavor, and it's good in the palate, and we've enjoyed this as well. And this one here is the White Lightning, and this is a straight moonshine, and it's 40% alcohol. It's a Canadian product once again, and it's fairly close to me. So I do like this. I really do enjoy this. But we're going to talk about this one in a second. Then we have Dixon's Oat Shine, and it's using oats as the base for the product. It's a very It's definitely a moonshine. It's a very heavy taste, very strong taste. Gives you quite a bit of a bite, and I enjoy it quite a bit. So, that one's pretty good straight. I wouldn't be able to drink a whole lot of this, but, just for a one-off every once in a while, I enjoy that quite a bit. And Dixon's, they're located in Guelph, Ontario. They also offer some mixes in their vodka line. So we have the Dixon's vodka here. So this is the coffee vodka. And it's 20% alcohol, or 26% alcohol. And they have the cinnamon. And both of those are very good flavored vodkas. I was quite happy with those. So, and I've had a little bit of a sample, not much. You can see the balls are still full. And I just got these today. So, we haven't really played into too much. The one I went out for is Dillon's. Now, Dillon's is in... it's in southern Ontario, down by Niagara Falls. I believe St. Catharines, or close to there anyways. And they offer several wonderful spirits. They have a rose gin. This one here is a cherry gin. And it caught my attention a few weeks ago, actually. I went into the liquor store and I looked. I saw it there on the shelf, and I had my mind set on something different at that time, so I just kind of passed it. But I thought, it's kind of interesting and piqued my interest. So I thought I'd pick it up, and yeah, Yeah, quite impressed. It's a very heavy cherry. It's not a maraschino cherry. It's a heavy, deep, rich cherry with a good, strong gin. Now, I'm not sure how this one is made. I am going to plan on a trip down to see that distillery, and I've already seen the Murphy's Law and the Dixon's distillery, and quite impressed with those as a micro distillery. But the Dillons will go down and have a trip there and have a look inside and see what that looks like in there. Quite impressed. I'll try some more of that stuff. One of my favorites, and I am a Scotch drinker, whiskey drinker. I do enjoy I do have top shelf. Once again, I have a fair amount of top shelf stuff, but I do enjoy a lower shelf, monkey shoulders. So, and I brought that out. This is my go-to Scotch. If you've never tried this, to me, the taste and what I experience out of this equates to easily to a $200 or $300 bottle of other products, other scotches. And in Canada and Ontario, it's $60, around that range. And as you can see, I've enjoyed this one. So this bottle does have a little more air in it than most around my place. I can't say enough good things about this one. Once again, if you've never tried monkey shoulders, give it a whirl. You won't regret this. It's a blend from 3 different Speyside distilleries, and they really did a nice job onto it. So that's in my goal, in what I want to see down the road, is we can't make Scotch, not in Canada, but we can make a whiskey that is hopefully a close one to this, and be able to offer it at a reasonable price. So this is what my goal is. This is one of my targets to hit. Now, we talked about the Murphy's Law, White Lightning. And if you ever get a chance to search online for the Murphy's Law, it's a great story. And you'll love what you read and discover about them. And hopefully, I'll have a talk with them next time I see them. I'll be dropping hopefully in the distillery, hopefully in another month or so. And I'll be talking, I'll see if they'll let me do some filming there and show you what looks like inside. I know they're on a switchover right now from their old still to a new one. And we'll see how that goes. So once they have that running, and I just went and visited them when they were right in the middle of that change. So once they have that running, we'll see if we can pop in and have a chat with them. But this is the bottle now. I have 2 of these. One of them is inside the house, the open one. This one hasn't been opened yet. And it's a good tasting product, and I'm quite impressed with it, but I want to play with this one. And that's why I picked up an extra bottle. I want to see aging, oaking, and let's see what I can do with my shine when I get there. And I'm not going to call it a shine, my whiskey when I finally get there. So I want to try to play with it early and see what I'm capable of and what I think might work and what may not. One of the few things I know is this one here was done in a straight pot still. So there's nothing in the column. It goes up an open tube, goes to the top, temperature is controlled through the boiler, and then it gets into a condenser column. They had a condenser on this one, not a worm. And then comes straight out. So that's what you're getting. There's nothing else in there. Now whether or not they do stripping runs and then do a final spirit run, I'm unsure. I can ask that. But it is straight pot still whiskey. So there's a couple things I want to try with this. First thing I want to do is smooth it out a little bit. As a straight pot still, it's very flavorful. And that's the one thing about a pot still, is it gives you absolutely full flavors. You can taste the corn into it, the sweetness, and whatever else is mixed in. There's a few other flavors that I'm not quite sure what they are, but they're actually quite nice. But to me, it's a little too heavy. I like a drier drink, drier spirit. So I'm going to try a couple of things first. I'm going to keep a sample of this as my control, and it'll stay in this bottle. It won't come out. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to filter this out. Now this is a brand new Brita water filter, and it's not going to change the flavor, but it should take out any of the thickness. And I'm hoping, I'm going to try it once And if I need to, I'll run it through a second time. And I know if you have a really cheap vodka, and there's lots out there, if you have a really cheap one and you want to improve the flavor, you can run it through these about 8 or 9 times. Bit of a pain, but it does improve the flavor or the taste sensation of a cheap vodka. I want to try that here on the whiskey, on the moonshine. So I'm going to run, 2/3 or maybe a little bit more through this. And then I'm going to split that into 3 separate little columns as well. And there's a couple things I want to try with that. One of them is doing some wood. And sorry, I didn't have this set up ahead of time. I had to reach over for that. So here we have a stave from a wine barrel. This is really neat. If you can look, you can see how the wine's penetrated into that wood, right into the cores. So what I'm going to do with this, now it has been charred on the inside, and you can actually see the charring here. But I'm going to do a little bit of a rapid aging onto this. So now this stave, I'm going to cut this. I'm going to come down here and I'm going to cut it lengthwise because I want to minimize my end grain. I want to keep along the straight grain here. So I'm going to come down, I'm going to cut a couple slices, and then I'm going to chop it down into smaller pieces to fit inside the glass jar that I have in order to try and do some of this aging. And I think before that, I'm going to come in here again, and I'm going to do a little more of the, use the propane torch, clean up the edges, round the edges off a bit, and then give them a bit of a toasting. So that way we can see, a little more of a darkness into them, and that should impart a bit more flavor within the shine. And then I'm going to try oak chips. These are American oak, American white oak, and they actually used to be a whiskey barrel. So, and you can see there is actually a fairly medium char. Now I'm pretty hard on that camera, but there's a medium char on this, on some of the pieces inside here. And what they did is they took, and there's a darker char there, they took the barrel apart and they basically threw it into a shredder. And that's what you ended up with. There's lots of opinions on, using oak chips. Some of the opinions are, this is the greatest way to go, and I've heard that a lot. Other opinions are that because you have too many, the grains are too open up, you get too much of the tannins and the flavor is not acceptable. The more I read, the more I hear different opinions. So it got to the point where there are so many different opinions on this, I have to try it. There's no, I'm not going to go by one guy or several people and they say don't even experiment with this. No, I got to make up my own mind. So I'm going to try this. However, I think I'm going to take some of the longer pieces probably, and I think what I'm going to do is toast them down a bit. So if I throw them in the oven for about a half an hour at 400, as long as I don't turn them into charcoal, I'm going to try that. And then what I'll do is once I do that, I'm going to give them a quick rinse under cold water as soon as they come out of the oven, just to get off any of the dark char that goes on there. And then I'm going to throw them into the bottle. So that's where it is right now. That's where I'm at. I'm going to do this off camera. And then in a few days, we'll come back, and maybe next weekend, and so 7 days from now, and we'll check on what happens. I think this is going to be a great experiment. There's one other thing I'm going to try, and it's going to be throwing an electric current through the mix. I'm going to be using parts of the wood stave, the wine-soaked wood stave, and I'm going to put some electric current running through this to the other piece. And I'm going to see if that makes any difference as well. So I've already set up to do that, and I'm really curious on how well that's going to work. But once again, it's an experiment. It's I don't think I've ever seen that. I haven't seen anything that says it's a problem. And I've done it a lot using for other reasons. So I thought, yeah, let's give this a try. Doesn't hurt to experiment. I mean, moonshine is, although it's not $0, it's not a top-end price, so I got room to play with this stuff. And the Murphy's Law, it's a great product the way it is, So I'm wondering if I can actually make it better. Don't know. Be worth a try though. This is not just, can I make a store shelf stuff a little more appealing to me or more to what I prefer? This is, when I get down that line and I start producing this stuff as well, can I make it into the flavor zone that I want? The one that I want to offer my customers. Because I have a specific idea of what I want to do. So let's give this a whirl. I'll see you in about a week and we'll see what this does. In the meantime, I am going to be starting working on the still, start building those pieces, and we'll show you that. For now, hope you keep following along. If you like this, hit the subscribe, and let's follow this journey together. Take care.